if I remember correctly, and this is 13 years ago, but I remember, I think Genistein, one of the phytochemicals that is in
Mm,
soy, as
mm.
being one of the most powerful anti-angiogenic factors that you discovered. Is that correct? Am I
Yeah,
misremembering?
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. In fact, the entire idea of dietary angiogenesis intervention actually came from studying the urine of Japanese farmers who
Mm,
lived outside of Kyoto and looking for bioactivity, looking for some signal that there was something that might be in their urine that could interfere with the blood supply of cancers. And it turns out these all these farmers were vegetarians in
mm,
Japan. And when you picked out the spike in their urine, the chemical signal, it's a spike that in a lab you could pick out and identify that spike. It was genistein, which is this phytoestrogen. So
mm.
quite the opposite to the idea that phytoestrogens in foods like soy could be harmful or dangerous for women who want to avoid breast cancer. Turns out the
and
complete
and and
opposite is true.
and that's what I was going to ask you, is that there's so much culture that has been built up for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, of people who have demonized soy and taught that soy is bad, soy is going to increase your chance of cancer, soy is for men going to make you more estrogenic and be feminizing, and is generally an unhealthy food that should be avoided. Um, what would you say to people who are under that impression?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, first of all, it's an urban legend, and the science says the complete opposite. If you're a woman and you eat more soy, the studies show that your risk of breast cancer is decreased. The same thing as for men, you don't actually have decreased virility because of soy, but there's a reason why, and I think the reason why is what people need to know. So, first of all, like many popular beliefs about food and health, especially when it comes to demonization. I always say, well-intentioned person makes some uh, understandable connections. Let's look at this, like soy. Soy has a phytoestrogen, plant estrogen. Some human breast cancers are fueled by human estrogen. So wouldn't it make sense that eating soy would be dangerous because of the phytoestrogen could actually mimic human estrogen and cause a problem? To a layperson, a well-intentioned layperson, that would be a logical conclusion. However, as a scientist, which is what I am, we dive really deep into this, and so I like to explain some why this is actually an urban legend. Number one is that when you look at the chemical structure of phytoestrogen for genistein in soy, like chemical structure, it looks nothing like human estrogen, which you can look at the chemical structure. So, on the basis of science, you can look at these chemical structures and say they look nothing like the same, even though they
Meaning,
have the stick the same.
like, for people who are not familiar with physiology, the implication being that it's not likely to interact with our estrogen receptors and promote the same functions.
That's correct. In fact, not only does it not mimic and cause the same function, the plant estrogen, as human estrogen, in fact, the plant estrogen from soy, genistein, blocks human estrogen. It's Mother Nature's tamoxifen, which is a drug that oncologists actually give women to treat breast cancer. And, and plus, genistein is cancer starving, it's anti androgenic. Plus, if you take a look at the large scale human studies. So there was a study of 5,000 women called the Shanghai Women's Breast Cancer Study that studied the women who are at the highest risk of breast cancer from soy. They would be, which is women already with breast cancer. All
Mm-hmm.
right. It turned out that when they actually studied soy consumption in women with breast cancer, those women who drank or consumed the highest amount of soy, which is about 10 grams per day. How much is in 10 grams per day? It's the amount of soy protein, including phytoestrogen, that you would get in a tall glass of soy milk. All right. 10 grams of soy protein decrease the risk of death from breast cancer by 30%.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then if you had surgery or you were in remission, it actually decreased the chances of actually recurrence of breast cancer by about 30% as well. So, that's a large study, 3,000 people. And if you go to Asia, women there also are diagnosed with breast cancer. Unlike here in the West, where this urban legend has actually been widely circulating, as you point out. I mean, in Asia, women with breast cancer are not told to eat less soy; they're told to eat more soy.
Oh, wow.
So again, there's sort of this cultural relativism, right? So one thing that would have been logical to do 20 years ago when this rumor came out is like, well, so in Asia, when women get breast cancer, develop breast cancer, do they tell them not to eat soy? And those that do eat soy, do they develop a worse outcome? And the answer to both of those questions is no.